Coming into it, I just thought that camps were underutilized in terms of what they could be doing with children's needs. And if we could really identify what they could do better in life and then how they could do it, it would be a much more powerful tool.
My parents were in the Peace Corps together in Ethiopia years ago and felt strongly about the mission. So Dad started Global Camps Africa, I think, because it was always a dream of his to go back to Africa and make a difference for young children.
Phil got his start in the camping world early. His dad was an owner-director of a boys' camp called Camp Winnebago in Maine, and he saw the impact that camp and camp programs can have on children. After 30 years of owning and directing camp in Maine, he passed the torch to his son Andy for Camp Winnebago.
You know, Phil's one of those intrepid souls that no moss really sticks very long. So after he was assured that camp wouldn't burn under my hand, he quickly departed to parts unknown, and he would call in once in a while and tell us he was somewhere in East Africa looking for host country partners to work with to create his dream.
I keep remembering a trip that we took to Kenya in 2001, 2002, when Dad was kind of shopping for a place to start global camps. Driving around, talking to people, walking through the slums of Kibera, lucky for everyone involved that it wasn't. And, he ended up in Joburg and Soweto.
Some of these children, they come from poor families that can't even afford to buy them sanitary products or school books. Some of them face violence, abuse, and neglect. Some of them face a lot of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety, learning difficulties and disabilities, a lot of drug abuse. Some of the children that we serve don't have parents, some of them live in children's homes. And so these are some of the challenges that our children face, not only them, but the communities that they come from.
Dad was never scared or afraid, probably because he didn't know what he didn't know. And I think that's probably where Mom came into the picture. He was the visionary, and she was a bit more of the pragmatist. She wanted to keep Dad's project from going off the rails.
As much as Dad, is the founder, Mom was the one who supported him and edified him, She came with her own family background of sort of global thinkers and movers and shakers. And that's one of the reasons they probably had such a rich and deep life together.
I would say, though, it's not just Global Camps Africa, it's how my mom lived her life and my dad lives his life, which is making a difference, whether it's just giving someone a compliment or making them smile or listening to their story and offering wisdom. I think that's who they are. And, that legacy will continue.
I've spent my career serving underserved kids from New York City, so that's my passion. I heard about global camps from Phil at a national conference, and I knew immediately this was something I wanted to do. And 3 weeks later, I was literally landing in Joburg. I've run camps in many different places, but never in South Africa, so it was just thrown right in. The challenges that first year were, first of all, the Vocellis there, most of them had never done camp before, so they really didn't know the camp culture. And about half of the staff were rather senior Americans that had come from Peace Corps and some other things, so meshing those two cultures and generations together potentially could have been an issue. But it was simple things like the pool was not a shallow pool, so how do you teach swimming to beginners when they can't touch the bottom? And we were working on very little money. The facilities were beautiful, but rustic. The buses were coming in the first day and someone yells out, don't let them in the dining hall. And I said, why? And they said, there's a cobra in here. And I turned to whoever was next to me, said, I'm not in Kansas anymore. You know, it was. Once camp got started, I was just really amazed at how quickly the Vocellis picked up what the job was and how compassionate they were with the kids. It blew me away. And I'm not easily blown away on these things because I feel like I've worked with some pretty tough kids.
There are only really 3 or 4 things that make a successful camp across the world. Creating physical, emotional safety, relationships, and an environment to learn.
To be at a place where you can actually feel happiness and feel support and respect makes a big difference. That's what transforms kids. They start to realize people really care.
When Camp Sizanani Life Skills started in 2003, HIV was a big problem in South Africa. And Camp Sizanani Life Skills was an essential player in the prevention of HIV. But as the times moved and HIV not being the same problem as it was, that meant us evolving and catering for the needs of the young people for different times.
And so now we have financial literacy and entrepreneurship programming. We have young women's empowerment clubs. We have Asiko Lasani, which is the program that we developed for children who are not yet old enough to come to camp. And we just received funding to develop a new program around technology and the use of the internet.
How has camp been so far?
Oh, very nice. I wish I could go.
You want to stay forever?
Yes.
I would like to thank the donors of Camp Sizanani Life Skills. I'd like to say I'm appreciating everything they've done to us. They've given us good things, they've taught us good lessons. Thank you.
I've been in Camp Sizanani for 7 years and youth club. And we do a lot of things there that help us a lot in life, like to be better people and to be great in the future.
They teach us what is HIV and AIDS, and they teach us how to take care of ourselves and how to take care of others. Yes.
So I'd like to thank Sizanani for helping me, like for things that I didn't know, because our parents usually don't talk to us.
I'm here with Phil Lilienthal, our founder and one of our board members. So how do you feel about where Global Camps Africa is now, 20 years later?
It's hard to remember how I felt back at the beginning. I think I was so happy to see it get off the ground, so happy to see kids roaring into camp and just wanting to get everything they can out of it, that it's been very, very exciting.
Where do you see it in 20 years?
I think it would be to go to other countries and have a foothold there. The need is so great, and what we do is so positive and powerful. You know, we'll get there.
I mean, we'll
We're
get
young.
there.
We're young. It's only 20 years. We've got a lot more time.
Thanks can never be enough for the thousands of children that we serve.
It is such a pleasure to work with you, with the South African staff, with everybody who's come through Camp Sizanani. I feel joyful and honored and privileged to be able to do this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.